It's 9 o'clock. It's a Saturday morning. Do you know what that means? Do ya? Do ya? Yes! It's time for the Monster Magic Saturday Show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woohoo! Good morning, everybody. Blimey, it is gonna be Scorchio today. It is already very, very hot. I've got the back doors open on the boat, so I'm trying to get a bit of a breeze going on, but maybe it's not the weather. Maybe it's because I'm surrounded by some really hot products. I've really got to get better at these segues. First up, we have SC2 KR by Ari Phillips and and someone else, isn't it? And Sean Jackson. This is a card to impossible location. It's made by Grum Leather. I do know Ari Phillips. He has been making Grum handcraft chop cups, lots and lots of leather goods, leather holders for all manner of things. Do go and check out the Grum website. This is something new in a way. This is probably a little departure from what Grum have been making previously, and the fact that it's actually a trick. It's a card utility device. SC2 KR stands for signed card to keyring, and it's designed to be an everyday carry. In the effect that Harry teaches, you show that you've got this key fob that has a card folded up inside it. You hand it to a spectator to hold. A card is then selected, signed and lost in the deck. You try and find it, but you find an indifferent card by mistake. You wave it over the key fob and it turns into the signed selection. The signed selection is then lost once again into the deck. It is failed to be found, but you then pull out the card from the keyring that has been in their possession the entire time, and it is indeed their signed selection. It is a very, very familiar plot of a signed card to impossible location. One of the strongest tricks you can do. Ari's routine combines it with the classic transformation of a card using a very popular sleight, and don't dismiss that phase of the routine at all, because that is one of those things. I think when you first learn a double lift, that is one of the first things you do with it, and it still gets remarkable reactions. It is, it's a great first phase, followed by an amazing second phase when their signed card is pulled out of this keyring. Let me show you the keyring, because this is really what Ari is known for, and he doesn't bang on much about this in the tutorial at all, and that is the quality of this prop. It is really, really nice leather, pretty thick leather, and really, really well hand sewn, and that's the craftsmanship that Grum are really, really well known for. And the lobster clip as well is really super solid. It is all top notch, top quality. There is nothing cheap about this at all. There has been no cost saved. It's great. And also the action and how it moves and how it works is brilliant. It is very, very deceptive. So the tutorial, Harry teaches his routine. I can't remember how long the tutorial is. It's about 25 minutes. And the real knack to this is really just about timing. It's a little bit similar to Paper Clips by Jay Sankey, if you want to think about it along those lines. And it's very easy to do. You've just got to master the timing of it. There's a few subtleties. You want to put your thumb on this card as you pull out the card, and there's a little bit of a motion to it, but it's great. Just do the move in front of the mirror, or film yourself doing it lots and lots of times until you make it look exactly like what it's meant to look like. It does look really, really good if you get the timing perfect. You can actually achieve a really, really good retention of vision with it, as Ari demonstrates. The other great thing about it is that it comes already set up with a red bicycle card. You can change it for a blue bicycle card if you wish. You even get a blank gimmick as well if you want to do it for a billet or some sort of mentalism routine. But actually, when you see how this is made, you can pretty much make it out of any card that you like, as long as you've got a hole punch, and it's really quick and easy. And then a lot of the tutorial is teaching the routine, which is pretty easy. It's got some nice built-in misdirection, and you're covered very much with this key fob. This key fob's the perfect size to hide the actual selection. One bit that isn't really developed very much on the tutorial is the fact that you can actually have the card appear in this key holder. So you can show this is empty, you can put it face down on the table, and then you can turn it over and the card will have appeared in it, as opposed to it's always been there all along, which is a slightly different effect. It also possibly opens up for some other versatile ideas. So I think there's a lot that you can do with this, rather than just Ari's routine. The one thing that is probably striking fear into your hearts is that you obviously need to do a Mercury card fold, or another card fold, I guess. There are others out there. And although that's done, there's natural misdirection within the routine that Ari teaches. Ari does run through how to do the Mercury card fold. Ari recommends that you do need to get it pretty precise with this. If they have seen it, it does look pretty tidy. So Ari suggests using Perfect Score by John Allen, which is just a little brilliant utility device. You can score cards with it in seconds. You can do a whole deck in minutes. You can either do just one card in the deck and force it, or you can do the entire deck and have a 3 selection, or of course you could do any number in between. Pretty easy to classic force from a bank of 10. And although it doesn't actually do the move for you, it does make it accurate. Ari very good at teaching the general actions of it all, and you should get it down pretty quickly. And it really is one of those moves that you should get down, because it does open up a whole world of magic tricks. The only thing that did concern me a little bit was it does look a little bit odd. I've never really seen a key fob quite like it, but I've got used to it now, and I think it just flies. Obviously, the idea is that it just sits on your keys as a genuine key fob, and you've just always got it with you. As long as you've got a deck of cards, you've got a miracle. The quality and craftsmanship is beautiful. It is a real quality prop. The one drawback is that all this quality comes at a price. Next up, it's Dave Forrest's chip reader. Dave Forrest has been around in the magic world for a very long time. I've never met him or anything, but certainly when I was starting out, he was one of the big creators with his company Full 52. He then sort of vanished from the magic world a little bit with his tail between his legs. Not entirely his fault, I don't think. Going through some hard times, struggling a little bit, and consequently sort of bowed out. He's now back, and I'm really pleased he is, and I think everyone deserves a second chance, and certainly Dave does. And coming back into a world that you left slightly in disgrace is not easy, so I was a little bit nervous about reviewing this, because didn't really want to knock him. Fortunately, I think this is probably my trick of the week. You hand your participant a little black velvet bag containing 5 poker chips from 5 different casinos, all with different designs, all with different colours, and they can check them out to their heart's content. They then put them back in the bag, pull one out at random, and look at it and remember some details about it. You then ask them to think all about the details of the chip, and you are able to read their minds and tell them which chip they have chosen. It is surprisingly good. What Dave has done is just thought about absolutely everything. The plot is really simple, as is the method. But let me show you the props first, because the props are just great. They are poker chips. They feel like they're clay poker chips. They're a little bit thinner, I think, than perhaps a genuine one, but they're nicely printed. And as you can see, all the designs are very different. And what I really like is, like, so even little bits, so like this is the Tiffany's Casino. You see it's got a diamond, and that sort of ties in. That makes sense. They are very cleverly designed, and they've got that nice chip feel. I mean, I don't play poker very much, but if I did, it would be for that sort of noise of ruffling your chips. And the bag as well. And the bag is also pretty important, as Dave explains. It doesn't do anything magical, but it sets up really to make the trick as clean as possible. So there's nothing gimmicked here. And the method is basically fishing. So you do have to ask them some questions, but with fishing, it's something that a lot of people are scared of as a method, because it can sound like you're just guessing if you do it badly. Dave teaches it really, really well, but these props means that you are never really wrong. Everyone which is a slightly negative response, and you're probably only ever going to get one negative response. Chances are you're going to get hit, and then maybe one negative response. That response is so buffered and cushioned that it feels right. It's almost like, instead of it sort of being wrong and hitting the ground in a dead thud, it's on a trampoline and it bounces back up and becomes a right answer. So it feels like you're always nailing it. And if you're vaguely wrong but vaguely right, that almost feels to your participant that you've got some genuine mind reading going on, that you really are trying to delve into their thoughts. Dave teaches it really, really well. There is a slight bit of memory work, so you do have to sort of know the poker chips, obviously, certainly like the names of the casinos, fairly obvious things like that. But Dave gives you all of the language to use, the questions to ask, how to ask them, to really make it feel like mind reading. He also sets it up as that they are sending you their thoughts, and as he says, that gets them on board. It's almost not like they're testing your ability to read their mind, but you're also testing their ability to send their thoughts. So you're not you are encouraging them to really play along and do their best, and that really does absorb them. If you've ever had this sort of thing done to you, even as a magician, and I know what's going on, if it's done well, you still get the impression someone is sort of staring into your deepest thoughts. And also the bag's really good for getting the chips out of play at the end. They can obviously inspect them at the start, and that is the perfect time for them to inspect them. They don't know what's going to happen, and they can't remember all of the details of the chips. Anyway, once you've learnt the path to each chip, which really doesn't take long, and is very, very clearly taught, you're good to go. And it's a great little, I mean, that's all it is to carry around, and it is a really, really strong piece of mentalism, and it's all down to the clever design of these chips. It is really, really well thought out. It must have taken a long time to get every chip to work in the way that it does. It's great. It's really easy to do with a bit of practice. Just practice getting to each chip. There's no real sleight of hand. There's no really sneaky stuff to do. There's no gimmicks. It's a really, really clean piece of direct mentalism that is a doddle to carry, so you can take it out if you're going to a party, or if you're a worker, it doesn't take up much pocket space to do table hopping. It's a really simple, direct, powerful mind reading routine, but that simplicity hides the genius and just how clever this is. And fortunately, Dave teaches it really, really well. That is Chip Reader by Dave Forrest, $24.99. Next up, it's The Shot Glass by TCC and Jimmy Fan. This is just a very, very simple production of a shot glass. You show a handkerchief or a napkin on both sides. You then put it over your hand and produce a shot glass full of whiskey. It doesn't have to be whiskey. Obviously, it can be any non-carbonated drink. This is the glass that you get. It's very easy to grip and hold. It is glass, so do be careful with it. But if you keep it in this box, it is a very snug fit and it'll be safe as houses. You also get the handkerchief. Now this is a normal handkerchief, but it's sort of thick, stiff cotton, which is ideal for the effect. And you also get the gimmick as well that keeps the liquid inside the glass and also helps you hide the glass whilst you're showing both sides of the handkerchief and so on. The tutorial is only about 20 minutes long, but it's really, really clear. He teaches it both with the cloth from behind and from the front, but also with a clear sheet as well, so that you can see exactly what's going on. And there's a little bit of nuances as well that is all covered. So although it's quite a short tutorial, everything is nicely explained. The shot glass is a really good size and the gimmick fits a treat, so you are completely safe and you shouldn't have any spillages. And he runs through exactly how to fill up the glass and how to attach the gimmick and everything in good detail. The one little thing to be aware of is, and this is the same with most of these gimmicks, to be honest, there is a little bit of noise when you remove the gimmick from the glass, but a click of your fingers is ample to cover that, and you'll get away with it, certainly in any ambient noise around as well. It's a great production. It looks really, really fair. You can show both sides of the cloth, and it's pretty easy to do as well. If you don't like this handkerchief, feel free to change it for anyone that you like. Not necessary to use this one. You can even use a napkin or piece of paper if you want. In typical TCC fashion, it's a good trick that's pretty easy to do with some really great, well-made props. That is the shot glass by TCC and Jimmy Fan, $28.99. Next up, it's RPS by Paul Andrews, the rock, paper, scissors prediction. This, it's up my street, I have to say. I'm just going to show you the props first because they are so me. This is just something that I will use. This actually is a great little utility prop as well. The actual rock, scissors, paper effect, you give each of your participants a position card, A, B and C, and you give them a gesture and you ask them to change their gesture with anyone else's. You turn over and prove that you have predicted exactly who will beat whom in the rock, paper, scissors game. Then offer to repeat it with a slightly more specific prediction. You then do it a third time, and this time say you're not even going to write down a prediction, and they don't have to move their gesture. They can repeat moves and anything that they like, and you turn over the A, B and C cards to say that once again you have predicted who will beat who. Such a fun three-phase routine. Everyone is familiar with the rock, paper, scissors game. Everyone sort of knows or tries when they're playing it to use a little bit of psychology and so on. So for me, I think it is just an absolute great hook. And it's sort of, it's a little bit along the lines of sort of ESP matching, but just more fun. And obviously it involves three people. These props are great. So these are the, I'll come to the utility one in a minute. So these are the props. They do go on your hand, which again, if you want to do some thimble moves with them, you can. And that's something that Paul suggests and teaches a little routine with this hand as well. We've got the scissors, so paper, scissors and rock. They're fun, they're bright, and they just liven up a trick really, really nicely. You also get the ABC cards. You get the rules of the game, should anyone be unclear as to which beats what. You can make that perfectly straightforward right from the start. And you also get the gestures as cards as well. So if you don't want to carry around these lovely, lovely gimmicks, you can just carry around the 6 cards in your pocket and do the trick as well. Once you know how the trick is done, once you know the secret, which I admit I did not know, I think it's really clever. You can really kind of jazz with it and change the number of moves. Your predictions don't always have to be written the same. The more familiar you get with this, you know, you can write down so and so beats or so and so loses. You'll just be able to make it your own, really, and sort of jazz with it a little bit. I love that it's 3 phases and each phase builds a little bit, especially at the end when they can move anyone and they can change moves back again. It feels all very free and completely random. So the idea that those A, B and C cards have been there and they're correct at the end is actually astonishing. And I'm really impressed with just how good these hand symbols are. You also get this one. So this is a utility one, and you can actually just put a playing card in here. It's designed just to hold a playing card. There you go. So it holds the card. Paul does actually teach a nice little, very simple routine, which the card transforms into their selection. So that's nice. It's a great little added bonus. The method does require a smidge of memory, but I wasn't aware, but Paul Andrews is very good at teaching memory games, and he comes up with a very simple way that you can remember the 2 things that you really need to know, and that's a lot of fun, and you probably might use that method for lots of other tricks as well. It is not hard to remember. It's just one of those tricks that's perfect for me. It's easy to do, which I find quite important. It involves great fun props. It involves audience participation, and at the end, despite all of the fun, there really does pack a punch. That is RPS by Paul Andrews, $24.99. And finally, a quick blast from the past. It's 100th Monkey by Chris Philpott. This used to be a DVD. It's now not. It's now online instructions, which is super, super convenient. If you're not familiar with 100th Monkey, it came out a fair few years ago, and it took certainly the world of mentalism by storm. Durham Brown was doing it. It was on Penn and Teller. It was on America's Got Talent. It was one of the best mentalism stage routines, but you can also do it close up. It comes with various different routines. Once you see the secret, you can do various things with it. Chris Philpott's obviously quite keen on the whole dual reality idea, where there's a little bit of mind reading going on, but easily the most popular effect with it was speechless, where you take away someone's ability to read. So you can show the audience or the group a card that's got a word written on it, a card that they can easily read and recognize, a popular word, but when you show it to your participant, they cannot read it and they struggle to pronounce it, and it is both baffling and bemusing and great fun. It gets people laughing, as well as confused as to how they can't read the word. It is really, really great. It works on the idea of paucity images. There's a famous one of Einstein and Marilyn Monroe. The cards are great. So you also get, let me show you the cards. I'm not sure how well they'll work on the camera, but so you get a good selection of the cards already. I imagine with the camera you'll be able to read all of these. As you can see, very straightforward words, and the trick is pretty much self-working, a little bit of audience management probably. Different lighting conditions, you might want to practice with that. Also, you don't want anyone with bad eyesight. So I can remember at Prop Dog, obviously, Dave and I were just amazed with all of this, but Jason, with his terrible eyesight, could just read every word, and we couldn't quite understand how he was doing it. So it does, if you make sure your participant doesn't have terrible eyesight, or they've got their glasses on if they need them. It is one of the most unique effects you can do. It is really, really clever. Chris invented all of this himself, really. The idea of the opacity images wasn't that great. If you do look at the Marilyn Monroe and the Einstein, it's not perfect. It works much better with letters and words. And yeah, he has just come up with something that is dead easy to do, but is mind-blowingly strong. So you do get a set of these cards, but you also get PDF files of lots and lots of different words, lots of different cards, so you can make them any size you like. Doesn't, you know, they can be smaller if you want to carry them around as a packet trick, or they can be large if you want to do them on stage. If you really do watch the tutorial, Chris gives some great ideas of mind reading effects that you can do with it, or multiple outs as well. So don't just feel it is limited to the taking away the ability to read. It is an astonishingly good trick, and I'm just astonished that more people aren't still doing it. That is 100th Monkey by Chris Philpott, 68.99. And that's it for this week's show, I'm afraid. I do hope you enjoy it. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. And come on, slap on some suntan lotion, grab some magic, and go out there and have some fun with the best hobby in the world. Bye-bye.